Hello and welcome to this month's episode of Talks. I'm Kimberley Dondo and I am joined by...
I'm Tom Browne, I'm editor of Money Marketing.
And I'm Dan Cooper, news editor of Money Marketing.
Great. Thank you guys for... I don't know why I keep saying, like, we're here all the time, but thank you for being
You're welcome, Kim.
Yeah,
welcome.
Thank you for being here with me. So I think the year started off... We talked about it. It started off a bit volatile, and I think it's continuing on with the volatility.
I think that's fair enough.
I think that's fair to say. Yeah,
Yeah.
It's been a busy start. We said this in January, but it's been a really busy start to 2026. It's not really calmed down in any way. If anything, it's getting busier. So
Yeah,
lots to write about. That's a good thing.
And as of today, we're filming on the 17th, which is Sure Tuesday, beginning of Ramadan, Lunar New Year. And with Lunar New Year, it is also the year of the fire horse, which I have found out is very rare and potentially has something to do with all that volatility.
Well, there we go.
There you go.
Yeah. So
Yeah, it's a busy Tuesday.
busy Tuesday.
Lots going on.
Yeah. But we have a lot to cover today, and I thought we would start off by covering your big picture,
Yes.
which is women in finance. So why women in finance?
Why women in finance? Well, it was kind of off the back of a few things, really. I mean, there still aren't enough female financial advisors. I think the latest stats is 17%, so it's still fewer than 1 in 5, which, despite things changing over the last couple of decades, it's still kind of nowhere near enough. And there's a lot of women who have entered the advice space or the finance sector in different roles, like head of HR or head of tax. I can think of a few companies that have got high-profile female figures, but the simple reality is there still aren't enough women coming through. And one of the big reasons for that, as I discovered in this piece, was around the perceptions of financial advice.
Right.
So we've come a long way, but not really far enough. There's 56% of women who have never worked in this sector would never consider it as a future career.
Right.
Whereas 93%, or almost all of them, who have come into financial advice would recommend it to others.
Right.
So there's like a clear contrast between the views from the outside and then those views kind of change dramatically once
you're
you're inside.
career.
And actually, and some of the stories, and I just wanted to say thank you first of all to all of the women who contributed. I think I spoke to about 15 or 16 female financial advisors in the end. So I mean, just without those views, it just wouldn't have been that kind of piece. So yeah, thank you to everyone who contributed. The general view was from all of them was the same kind of phrases cropped up. So from the outside, they thought it was an old boys club. They thought it was full of middle-aged white men. They thought that business was done on the golf course or in the pub after work. Phrases like unwelcoming, not for people like me. And, there was all these sort of negative connotations prior to joining, and that's putting a lot of women off. And evidently it's still putting a lot of women off. So it's just a question of, if those perceptions change so drastically once they're inside, then how can we get that message out there better? And a lot of the women that I spoke to said, well, we just a few things really. We need to tell better stories, because a bit like the problem in financial advice, full stop, I don't really market it well enough.
Yeah.
It's a great career, it's flexible. You can earn good money. You can fit it around your lifestyle. So it's so many good things about the sector, but we're just not shouting loud enough. So the women that I spoke to said, perhaps we need to just try and change perceptions, because the industry is a lot more professional now than it was sort of 10, 15, 20 years ago. We've seen RDR come in, we've seen Consumer Duty come in, so it's much more professional now. But I think some of those old perceptions of guys in suits with selling products is still there.
Yeah.
And for a lot of women, that is putting them off. So yeah, that's what the big picture looked at.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought it was an excellent piece, Dan. I should
Thank
say very, very, very thorough. Lots and lots of very interesting voices in it, and I think the sort of the key things that are sort of raised in it, as you sort of said, the perception on the one hand of what it is versus the reality, the visibility in terms of female role models, and also what it is actually, what strengths women can bring to advisor roles, which really don't get enough publicity in the wider discourse. I think in terms of, as you say, it's still seen, even a long time post RDR as very male dominated, sales driven, very alpha. But many women working in the sector say that it is relationship focused, it's flexible in terms of their working, being able to fit around their lives, and very, very rewarding, but largely because good advisors need listening skills, they need empathy, they need the ability to build trust. Qualities that a lot of women say, that feels natural to them to bring to the role, and which clients value very, very highly as well. It's an old cliche. It's not just numbers on spreadsheet. But if we know this, we write about it quite a lot, or have done, and a lot of the women that you spoke to in your piece, or I speak to when we meet them, make these points. Why is it that it doesn't cut through into the wider discourse? And that point you made about representation, a lot of women being in, HR, sort of like admin type, sort of like the layer lower down from the sort of C-suite roles, is very, very important, because if there aren't enough female role models in those higher positions, then it's not going to encourage more women to consider the profession, or even be aware of the profession.
Yeah,
so
exactly
it's what we can do with all of those things, I suppose.
Yeah,
Yes.
and it kind of takes on an added importance as well, because you've got 60 to 70% of
I was
all
just
wealth,
thinking,
is
the
going to be in the hands of
intergenerational
women
wealth thing,
in coming years. So it's like it doesn't.
and a lot of them tend to leave like their deceased partner's advisor because they never had that relationship to begin with.
Exactly.
So then maybe they want a financial advisor they can relate to, and whatever it might be, you might feel more comfortable talking to another woman, because she might have more of an understanding about how you want to spend your money and what your worries are about money. So I think now is the best time for a lot of women to get into the profession. But I was also thinking that maybe there's a potential for like mentorship opportunities. Like you're saying, if there's a lot of women that are in admin type roles, and from what I've heard and the people that I've spoken to, a lot of them start at the bottom as admins within a financial advice firm, and then they end up working their way up to paraplanner, and then getting qualified as a chartered financial advisor. So potentially, if there were like mentorship programs where they were able to see someone like them, or someone they could relate to in that position, that then maybe.
Yeah, it's exactly that. It's representation, isn't it? Like you've both said, it's when you see someone like you in that role, then you're far more likely to actually think, well, maybe it is a career for me then.
Yeah.
But it's, as I said earlier, it's just it's making that step of actually getting more women into financial advice first. And the more women that are in financial advice, then you would like to think and hope that through their stories, more women will feel like, actually, this is a career for me.
Yeah.
I can see myself here, not it's just full of men. And because as Tom rightly said, if you look at a lot of financial advice firms, the top half of the About Us section, or our team, it is just white men, largely. And then you scroll down to the second half of the webpage, and it's other senior roles, but not C-suite or not financial advisors. And I'm not saying that there aren't women in financial advice. Of course there are, and they're doing great things. But when you look at the stats don't lie. In terms of actual financial planners, less than 1 in 5 is kind of not great, really.
Yeah.
I mean, I think I interviewed Gillian Hepburn just recently for previously of Benchmark, now of Vanguard, and she does quite a lot of mentoring programs, like you say, Kim, because she's been in the profession for a long time now, but certainly when she first started, it was a lot more male dominated than it is now, and she certainly, I think, she's a very sort of tough person, but I think she certainly was thrown by some of the things. There are a couple of anecdotes in the piece which I relate, which she certainly was, was a bit sort of taken aback by some of the things that she encountered.
Yeah.
And I think someone like her, who is, a very sort of inspiring figure, for someone like her to sort of, to reach out and sort of identify the talent, is a very positive step. I think I should flag, a couple of things actually. Something you just mentioned, Kim, which reminded me about the great wealth transfer. We're about to do a new column starting this week called The Advisor's Dilemma. This month, I should say. It's a new agony. I hate the term agony aunt, but I'm going to use it anyway. New agony aunt column written by Emma Bordwell, who's a wonderful writer. Anyway, she's answering kind of like, as the column title suggests, sort of advisor dilemmas, things that they may have come across with clients, and how they should deal with them. And the very first one that we have this month is an advisor who has a relationship with a male client who now has just been diagnosed with a terminal illness, and realizes that he doesn't have a relationship with his wife. And how does he broach this issue? How does he sort of, build a relationship with this wife? To be brutal before the husband dies and the trade goes elsewhere. I suppose. Yeah. And I think it's the kind of blind spot that a female advisor may well not have had at all.
No.
So. These are, he's honest enough to say, look, this is a financial consideration, but he was also saying it's an emotional one as well. I should have done better. I should have built a better rapport with both, and just not focused on one half of this relationship at the expense of the other.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's an interesting point, because one of the respondents that I had to the big picture said exactly that. It's like, I've been in rooms where the male advisor would sort of basically say, "Oh, don't worry about this. We'll focus completely on the male partner, build a bit of a rapport with him," and the woman's just kind of sat there like,
Yeah,
"Am I part of this conversation or not? Is it?" That's not a good look.
No,
that's not. Again, that's something that's not helping.
Yeah,
with the view of the sector, unfortunately.
And it comes back to the soft skills that we're talking about: listening, empathy, building trust. All of those things. They are just as important, because if you don't win the client's confidence, then you're not doing your job at the end of the day.
Yeah.
I should say, in terms of money marketing doing its part, we do what we can. We are actually the official media partner of the Pimp for Women's Symposium, which is happening in May. So we're going to there are going to be a lot of talks and discussions and workshops around this very subject. So we're very pleased to be involved in that. So watch this space. We're going to be doing a lot of content, a lot of coverage, around that.
Yeah, exciting.
I was also going to say safe spaces. I know that can be triggering for some people on the internet to hear, but I feel like it's good to have safe spaces for like women to come together and have those discussions and maybe figure out different ways they can approach working within a more male-dominated sector. And then you can also find other people that you can lean on as well. So
yeah, exactly.
I think that would be a great thing to be part
it'd be really good to be involved in. And I think it's 19th and 20th of May, isn't it? So
You are correct.
If you haven't got your tickets,
go get your tickets, and you can get a special discount with our code. And I'm so sorry, I'm not like those professional YouTubers who know their discount code by head, but yeah, please go to the Money Marketing website and you'll find the discount code there.
We can pop it in the description of this as well.
Pop it in the description. Yeah,
boom.
We will.
That's what they always say on YouTube.
Yeah,
videos.
In the description bar below.
Description and comments below.
Yeah.
And also, sorry, just to add to that, we are currently planning our coverage for International Women's Day as well.
Yes.
Which is early March. So it's kind of, it was a deliberate attempt really to publish the big picture when we did, because we want to carry that momentum on. So we've got the big picture coming out, then it's International Women's Day. We've already spoken to a few female advisors for that as well, so there'll be quite a bit of content on the website, and as Tom says, we then follow that with the Women's Symposium. So I think it's nice to keep that momentum going, because it's one of those things that's quite easy to kind of say, yes, we've got a problem, a perception problem, do a big piece on it, get everyone's views, and then
move on.
Life takes, like, not even deliberately, but life takes over.
Yeah.
News comes in, and you kind of just unintentionally it just
focus on the next
it gets
thing.
forgotten. But I think it's really important to keep that conversation going.
Yeah,
as long
for
as you
sure.
can.
Definitely.
And I don't really have a slick segue into our next segment. I'm sorry.
Kim, I'm disappointed.
I'm sorry. Like, I was trying to think consolidation and International Women's Day.
It's got to be linked there somewhere.
We don't really want to consolidate International Women's Day, so
On to the next.
Brilliant.
on to the next segment. This came about after a conversation that I had with you, Dan, about consolidation and a lot of the consolidation that has been happening in this like earlier part of the year, especially with NatWest acquiring Evelyn Partners,
Yes.
which you said was a potential precursor for more happening.
Yeah, I think it's been a kind of a tale of two acquisitions. In February, and it kind of, I mean, I don't know to others in the industry, but it certainly took me by surprise because these aren't small firms.
Yeah.
You had, as you mentioned, you had NatWest buying Evelyn Partners, you had Nuveen buying Schroders, and both of those huge deals happened in the same week, and it kind of really shifted that dynamic, I think, because as I say, I wasn't expecting it, and it just makes you think, well, we've talked about consolidation of the consolidators for a little while.
Yes.
And is this kind of the time where it's happening? Because that's really rocked the wealth management world, these two deals. It's nearly 10 billion for Schroders, and I forget the price now for
2.7 billion
for
NatWest.
NatWest, 2.7 billion. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's interesting the just while we're on that topic, it's interesting the two different prices and the different reactions in the market as well, because there was a big thing. NatWest share prices dropped quite considerably.
Yes.
When they announced the Evelyn Partners deal, and a lot of people said, "Oh, they've paid too much." Whereas with the Schroders deal, Schroders share price rocketed on the news, and
they were bought out by an American company.
Yeah, that's right, American investment firm, and obviously NatWest, the big banks. And I think the other question around this is about targeted support. Nothing's really been said about it at the moment, but we've done quite a bit on targeted support, and how it was probably going to benefit the bigger firms, and in particular the banks. So it's quite interesting to see NatWest come in for Evelyn Partners. The banks have already kind of started on targeted support. You've seen it. I see it quite a lot on emails. It's like emails are going out to their client base saying, "Oh, you might want to invest that £10,000 into a stocks and shares ISA." So, acquiring Schroders, acquiring Evelyn Partners with big wealth management firms with big databases of client data, it's going to go into the hands of the banks.
Yeah.
And then it's an interesting dynamic of, well, where does that then leave the advice firms? If they're getting bought out, the banks are kind of like taking on the targeted support role. We already know that a lot of advice firms won't offer targeted support because of the additional costs involved and the free nature of the service. Where are we going to go from here?
Is it? I don't know. This might be stupid, and our audience will tell me. But
I'm sure they will.
Yeah. But is there a potential future where the banks have partnerships with advisor firms?
Well, it's an interesting thing about, whether this NatWest buying Evelyn Partners signals that major high street banks want to play a big role in financial advice again. I suppose one of the questions about that, not just with Dan mentioning targeted support, but whether banks can combine lending and advice successfully without creating sort of conflicts for clients. That's a sort of open question, really, which I don't at the moment have an answer for.
Yeah, no, like I understand what you mean, because I guess an advisor, especially if they are aligned with NatWest, for example, they would more likely be to say, yeah, no, this is a great product from... But isn't that normally what a lot of advisors, they have like a partnership with one provider, so then they are more likely to have their clients work with that provider as opposed to
Quite often the case.
another one. So would that be so terrible? I don't know.
No, it doesn't necessarily have to be terrible. It's more about the sort of, a lot of the sort of, a lot of the sort of consolidation has been driven by sort of private equity, sort of like up until now. But I suppose, is that slowing down? I mean, when you've got higher borrowing costs, fewer firms to buy, it's what is, I suppose, the wider question is, what is the future of consolidation? I suppose.
Do you foresee more consolidation happening this year?
I think it will, but I think at a certain point it will. It's about what we say with the AI bubble. At a certain point it will slow, just because. I mean, the FCA has warned about debt being used to sort of fund takeovers, and then a lot of these private equity have run into problems when it comes to running advice firms themselves. We talked about Advisor as Platform in our last show, and whether or not the pressure to repay debt and also could affect decisions, whether it's harming client output. The FCA have obviously put consumer duty at the centre, increasingly so, of how it measures quality of advice. So a lot of these things could potentially have a downward pressure on consolidation. But who knows? We'll have to. It's something that we'll carry on reporting on.
I think it felt like it had slowed for quite some time.
Yes, for the last couple of years.
Yeah, because of the FCA announced its consolidation review, and they were kind of getting their teeth into that. And I think there was much more of an emphasis on, integration, and because around COVID time, I think it was more of an asset grabbing type exercise, and these private equity firms were just looking to scale and grow and build assets as quickly as possible. I think maybe not in all cases, but fair to say in a lot of cases, without a huge amount of thought about how they're going to integrate that firm afterwards. Yeah, it's just like they're under pressure from the private equity backers to reach scale very quickly, and then they kind of had all of these businesses. Well, what do we do with them now?
Yeah,
I think there's a bit more consideration now, a bit more due diligence. So it did slow for a while, but as we've seen this month, it seems to have maybe picked back up again, and perhaps the rest of the year will follow suit.
Well, I think like in times of recession, isn't that when people like to start doing consolidation because they might be cheaper?
Buy low, yeah.
Yeah. So potentially that might be a reason. But
are we in a recession yet?
Not yet.
Being in a recession? Why are we pretending we're not?
Not yet.
Then what am I feeling, Tom? What is my bank account feeling if this isn't a recession?
This wasn't meant to be
you hit a nerve there.
I was going to say, this wasn't a forum for free therapy, Kim.
I'm sorry. I just really got triggered.
I'm so sorry.
And
it's
talking about
going to be
other things that trigger me, I thought that we could round out this episode by talking about infuriating parts of financial services, not necessarily coming for the advisor community, but there are certain things that I have recently experienced that I wanted to air out, and that is wet signatures. So recently purchased a home, and everything was going well, but dealing with our conveyancing lawyer, and we wanted to pick up the pace. He was like, okay, send these documents. Did it, sent them by email. And then he was like, actually, no, I need wet signatures. So can you print all these contracts out, sign them, and then get them to me by tomorrow morning? So then that's additional costs, like doing special delivery, like delivered before 1 p.m. And it just felt ridiculous because we have so much technology now, like DocuSign or whatever, where you can...
I know. It just seemed crazy.
And it's essentially the same because my signature isn't any... I don't know. It just feels like it just prolongs an already arduous process. And I don't know why in such a digital revolution era that we're in that we still use wet signatures.
I know.
Yeah, I
You just want to say
endorse
all about this,
everything you say and more. I refer listeners or viewers to my latest weekend essay about my loft conversion, which I went through everything that you're talking about, where it was demands for wet signatures, multiple form filling. It seemed enormous duplication of stuff and admin all along the process. Nothing was straightforward, and it just thought because it mirrored so many of the complaints I hear within financial services about arcane practices, and it also sort of got me thinking about the government's growth agenda and the house building program and everything else like that. And I kind of thought, well, if it's even slightly mired in this kind of stuff, no wonder you get infrastructure fiascos like HS2 or Hinkley Point C, where you just kind of think, well, we can't seem to build a line of track without everything ballooning and everything being delayed.
Yeah.
So, I can completely understand the whole thing about arcane. The thing I was going to mention about is a complaint I hear a lot in financial advice is about sort of re-entering the same client data again and again and again because platforms and providers don't connect properly.
Yeah,
that's something that comes up all the time. Or like you get a new being told a form you've just submitted is out of date because a provider has released a slightly updated version, so you have to do something again. So it's a similar theme from yours: arcane practices, things not joining up, blockages.
Yeah, I was going to say, as soon as you mentioned wet signatures, I thought, I'm sure advisors can relate here, with letters or anyone that's under letters of authority.
Who probably have to do,
Exactly.
Yeah. It's very frustrating.
This makes me glad that I'm not a homeowner.
I mean, I was second guessing it. I was second guessing it. I was like, you tell me this is a good thing, but is it? I feel tied down now and sad.
Oh, Kim.
But it's fine now. We're all settled. It's in the past. I'll be fine. But it is a very annoying process.
Well, as Tom's proved, it's like you do come out the other side eventually. All of that hassle, and you're going to have a nice looking loft at the end of it. So you're nearly there.
Yeah, that's right. I'll have a nice new room to cry in.
Just run upstairs to the loft.
Yeah.
Dan, is there anything that irks you or that you've heard? AI, yes.
AI.
We had to mention it at least once.
Okay, I'm going to completely contradict myself because obviously we write a lot about it. It's pretty much on every single agenda that you go to. Well, it's because
it's like it's the hot term of the year.
It is the hot term, but it's just becoming a bit much.
Yeah.
I think it's like just in daily life, in
it's like AI everything.
Advice, you can't go a day without AI cropping up somewhere. And yes, obviously it is going to have a big impact on life and financial advice and financial services, but I don't know. I just want a day without talking about AI. That'd be quite nice.
Yeah.
It's very helpful. It's very good. It's going to make a difference.
I don't know.
It makes people's lives a bit easier. It allows firms to become a bit more efficient, but it just feels like we are getting there. But it feels like, this has been said before, there's a huge amount of talk, hype. We are in the adoption phase at the moment, so the benefits aren't really being felt in the same way that they will in 5 to 10 years' time, I don't think.
Yeah.
And it's just like, let's have one day without AI. That would be nice. Not without AI, but without talking about AI. That would be.
I'm going to suggest 3 non-AI related topics into ChatGPT to talk about today.
That would be good. That would be good. Thank you.
I think, for me, I'm at a point where I'm hearing so much scary things about AI or humans' interaction with AI where I'm a bit concerned because I don't think there is enough oversight with that. And the amount of people who've gone into AI psychosis, and that's a new word. Yeah. Because people are developing relationships to the point where I think OpenAI have had to put restrictions on the type of things you can talk to your AI about, because people have been creating AI girlfriends or boyfriends, or using AI for therapy, or using AI for financial advice. A lot of people are building their business plans or figuring out how to pay off their debts or something like that. So I think there is still so much oversight needed, and it feels like the companies are just growing exponentially, but then, as it always is with a lot of regulators, they're way behind in like stopping it from becoming something that's detrimental.
It's almost impossible to stop from a financial, particularly from like an FCA financial advice point of view. It's like, how on earth do you regulate that? How do you control
I don't think
it?
you can.
Not really.
I think this is the issue with all sort of progress, whether it be technological or not, or whether it be positive or negative. At the end of the day, unless you're going to just freeze everyone's brain, you're not going to be able to stop people pushing the boundaries and exploring and pushing outwards. So you're always going to have to try and work off how are we going to accentuate the positive and downplay or regulate the negative, I suppose. I'm kind of on the fence with AI in my own life, like personal and professional. I found it a useful tool in some areas. But then I look at it and that's just going to sound patronising. I think, well, I can use it responsibly, but I'm not sure other people can.
I feel the same way.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, oh no, if I rely too much on it, then I'll get stupid. Like the weekend essay I wrote about people becoming more stupid by using AI too much or relying on it too much. But yeah, I do feel like, I can use it responsibly, but then it's almost like autocorrect. You start relying on it so much that you can't spell certain words, like necessarily.
Never eat cabbage, eat sizzling sausages and Roundtree's Yorkie.
Okay, I will try to remember that.
How you spell necessarily.
How do you know that?
Because I could never spell it when I was at school. It was easy to remember that than how to spell necessary, apparently.
Yeah. But yeah, certain things, like at this point, I'm just like, okay, Grammarly, you spell that for me correctly. And I think reliance can be detrimental. So
I love how I've just said, like, I don't want to talk about AI anymore, and we've just spent 5 minutes talking about AI.
Well done, Dan.
Yeah, look what I've done.
We talked about the ethics of it, which is important to bring up rather
I've got
than
myself
like
to blame.
saying how great it is,
Yeah.
But once again, I'm so thankful for you guys sitting down and talking to me today, and I guess we'll see you in the next one.
See you soon.
Yeah, looking forward to it. Thank you. Bye.
Bye.